What is up, guys? It's Ian from the PI Podcast. You know I'm coming at you with some Jaguar football because the Jags are on the come up. I believe as a Jags fan, we are on the come up. And today I want to talk about the tight end room, okay? The Jacksonville Jaguars have never been known for their tight ends. We've never had an explosive tight end. And I know a lot of people bring up Mercedes Lewis all the time. He was a solid security blanket, but he was not an explosive tight end. This year, potential to change that. Evan Ingram has the chance to be a top 10 tight end in the NFL if he can get his drops under control. I don't think there's any debate there. He's one of the fastest, biggest, strongest. He's a very good receiver when he catches the football. And I know a lot of people are focusing on Evan Ingram this offseason. However, I think a lot of people are forgetting Dan Arnold is on our team, and yes, he is a journeyman tight end, has never stuck around for longer than like 2 years on a team. However, if you watched last season, if you watched any Jaguar football last season, you will know that Dan Arnold and Trevor Lawrence established a connection extremely early in a season filled with adversity, filled with dropped footballs, and Dan Arnold was a solid security blanket for Trevor Lawrence to go with the football and the seam. Evan Ingram is going to be tight end number one. However, Dan Arnold, I believe, will be sharing very close to the same amount of snaps that Evan Ingram gets. I think they're going to play a lot of two tight end set football schemes, and I think it's going to be a lot of Christian Kirk, Marvin Jones, Zay Jones, with Laviska Shenault doing some random shit, Travis Etienne doing some random shit, and then it's going to be Dan Arnold and Evan Ingram. I think Dan Arnold's going to be on a few more blocking assignments, and I think their backups, Chris Manhertz, Luke Farrell, are actually going to get some decent reps, mainly blocking the football. You have to remember, Chris Manhertz caught the first touchdown pass from Trevor Lawrence. Doug Peterson is a tight end happy football coach. You've seen it in the Eagles, or you've seen it in Philadelphia when he was the coach of the Eagles. He loves tight ends. That's very good for someone of the likes of Evan Ingram to get his career back on track. He got a little one-year prove-it deal. Dan Arnold, we traded our number one pick, C.J. Henderson, who didn't want to be here, for Dan Arnold. So we're going to use Dan Arnold. This is this regime's one of their selections. You know, Trent Baalke picked Dan Arnold. He's going to be used a lot. Dan Arnold has potential to make a name for himself this year because I really do think that Doug Peterson is going to use them in a way that will make his name look good. I think Trevor Lawrence has a lot of faith in him already. It's an established relationship. And our football team went downhill when Dan Arnold got hurt. It also went downhill when Jamal Agnew got hurt, but, you know, that's a completely different subject for a different day. Dan Arnold has a chance to be the number one tight end on this team. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear that with the money we just paid Evan Ingram. However, Dan Arnold and Trevor Lawrence had a connection, and that sometimes beats out talent. And I think Evan Ingram is the more talented tight end. However, Dan Arnold, I think he's got something special with Trevor Lawrence. Same way Laquan Treadwell came in, and everybody's like, why the hell did we get Laquan Treadwell? And then look at what he did. Him and Trevor Lawrence had a solid connection, and it almost looked better. Like, there was many games, Laquan Treadwell looked better than Marvin Jones and Laviska Shenault last year. Many games last year. You can think of the one play that comes to mind against the New England Patriots. We were down by 7 to start off the game, and Trevor Lawrence was a deep ball down the seam, triple coverage. Laquan Treadwell catches it. And I think that's a very similar connection to what him and Dan Arnold has. Dan Arnold, to me, played pretty mistake-free football last year. The only play that comes to mind last year was I think it was the opening drive. Maybe it was a drive after the Titans had scored. Dan Arnold caught the ball from Trevor Lawrence on like a third down situation, and he fumbled it and gave up a touchdown. However, after the review, it should have been called back. It should not have been a fumble. And that's the only play I can think of that Dan Arnold legit made a mistake last year, off the top of my head. Now, if I went back and did some research, sure, I could find a play or two that he just made a mistake on or dropped a pass that I didn't like him dropping or whatever. However, there's plenty of plays in my head right now. I can see Evan Ingram dropping plays for Danny Dimes. I mean, granted, Danny Dimes is not the best quarterback, but when a ball's in your hand and you're a receiving type tight end, you need to catch it. And that's what Evan Ingram needs to prove this year. And like I said earlier, Doug Peterson loves tight ends. These two have an opportunity to really make a name for themselves and make their career better in the long run. And then just like that, that's the end of today's video. We got a short one today. Next week, my next Jaguars video, not sure when it's going to be out, will be on the wide receiver situation for the Jacksonville Jaguars because there's a lot to talk about. Made some signings, got some guys coming back, got some guys that were already on the roster. I've got high hopes for this season.
Thank you for watching the PI Podcast. Make sure you subscribe and tune in next time so you don't miss the latest news in the NFL world. You can also follow us on TikTok at PI Podcast and on Twitter at PIPodcasters. Until next time.